Welcome, friends. I'm Bhushan Deshmukh from Loka and IS Academy, and we are going to today discuss a very crucial topic, that is last 30 days of prelim with lot of preparation you had done. Final lap, as the Neeraj Chopra is in a position, we are in the final lap, and how this final lap is going to be done. For that, some tricks, some discussion is crucial. Indeed, this last 30 days are crucial part of the studies, we can say. So let's go ahead for discussion. So presently, your situation must be like the sari shop when the woman left. What happened there? We can see here. क्या होता है यानी? So imagine your studies at this point. It is like you have to now consolidate all your studies and you have to place it properly in the basket because lot of study has been done. But until you consolidate it properly, arrange it properly, you will not able to retrieve it in the actual exam. So proper arrangement and retrieval of the study at this point is very, very crucial. One can emphasize. Let's go ahead. So this way UPSC prelim. This some people had this very interesting idea at this moment to come back from the attempt. Sometime I had a mood not to give the attempt this time. Imagine a pregnant woman who's in 8 months of pregnancy saying that I will not, I'm not the pregnancy. Now, that type of this sentence it is. How can you come back now? There is a question of coming back. There is no question of it. You have to go ahead. आपको जाना ही पड़ेगा आगे यानी अभी पीछे का रास्ता है ही नहीं यानी. So this way bit humorous it is, but I hope you got the point. So if you're feeling demotivated, then ultimate motivator in India is none other but Bhagwan Sri Krishna, who famously said to the Arjuna who has put down the Gandiv Dhanushya, and then Hatova Praptasi Swarga, Jitova Praptasi Mahim, Bhokshase Mahim. So Tato Yuddha Yujjasva, better you stand for the war. आप खड़े रहिए युद्ध के लिए. एक चुनौती है, एक आह्वान है, तो उसको सामना करना ही पड़ेगा, उसे पार करना ही पड़ेगा यानी. That's like a message. One of the thing I have come to know about discussing with the students in this phase is about test series and the results they're getting from it. They get very varied results like a roller coaster ride. Sometimes the candidates get a high score like 120 and sometimes as low as a 60. And which stage high, which stage low, nothing has been known, and then they're not getting what exactly their standing is. And then different test series give a different score. So what is the main problem in this whole discussion? We can say is that while the UPSC asks very logical questions, this test series people, they asked very factual questions. There's a big difference between being logical and being factual. But then, mind you, the score may vary in the test series. In actual exam, you'll fare well. So don't get bogged down by the scores, I will say. Indeed, in the last month now, solve the test series not for the score. There is no meaning in doing it. Don't count the score also now. Come what may, you are like in the 8 months of pregnancy, you said, and you have to go ahead now and deliver. Deliver to karna hi aapko hai. So in that case now stop counting the score. Just solve it for practice and do not waste too much time on explanation. Sometimes the explanation is so long that it takes 2 hours to solve the test and 4 hours to just understand the explanation, which gives us a complex that what you have done whole year or whether you have studied or not studied. That type of complex these people give you. If that is the case, better one should not go too much deep in the explanation also. And this way, some warning about this test series and a roller coaster result. ये दुख खत्म क्यों नहीं होता है? That's like an issue we have. So switch the focus now from learning to revising. Last month, one cannot keep learning new things now. It is better to shift the mode to the revising mode now. Revision is more important than purely learning. So prelim सिर्फ 3 चीजों से निकलती है. As it is said, the first month thing is the revision. You have to consolidate your study, revise so much that have the challenge that not a single question will be missed from your notes, from what you have studied. एक भी क्वेश्चन नहीं जाना चाहिए ना. जो आपने किया है उसमें से सब आना चाहिए. जो आपने नहीं किया वो नहीं आया, कोई बात नहीं है. But what you have done, you shall not miss a single question out of it. Second is solving more and more MCQs is another formula. And third is the determination that I will clear, come what may. जो होना है वो होके रहेगा. Solely reading without revision is trying to lead the fire without the magnifier. That type of thing it is. So revise and revision is very, very crucial. Some people had like keep wondering that they in that much time they will add new information. That's not a correct formula indeed, one can say in this phase. So make a plan to last few days. Have a plan. Planning is very crucial aspect. If you do not plan, then you're planning to fail. One can say, keep in writing the plan. It should be in writing. Keep an eye on it. Daily basis. You're answerable to that plan. Keep all the necessary things in the plan, like revision, as I'm emphasizing on it again and again. Second point is the consolidation of your studies. Third point is the mock test. Continue it, no doubt. And current affairs part, of course, in last phase, do not forget to emphasize as such. Checklist. Remember, there are at least 25 flagship schemes by government in the sectors like agriculture, rural development, urban development. So create a checklist and try to follow it. Important points like government schemes, some data from budget, something from economic survey, part 2. So that could be like studied now, the main data, the sequences. Last month is all for such things. So last month, some by hearting, mugging up also has its own place. Someone is not good at it, better be good at it. Start doing it. That is also required. Like to some extent, prelim is factual, and one has to face it. There is no other way into it. So one more thing about the newspaper. Some say that I stopped reading it. No problem. One can say, but actually reading newspaper is a good habit. It gives us a good understanding of the society and things ahead. And so sometimes it will be useful up to last minute also. So in this point, of course, stop reading the newspaper for news, but keep getting views and other things from it. And so I will say that continue it. It's like continuing breathing, nothing else. Common mistakes that is the last point, last minutes people do. The too much emphasis on one part, say environment. Some people are obsessed with the studies. Tumi dindhale chale, tumi ho bandhu sakha tumi. That type of one component only too much emphasis by the candidates in this phase, which may not do. Like you have to focus on multiple components in this phase. Belief that more information reduces uncertainty. A very interesting belief. More and collecting more and more information, being obsessed with it. So that's not good. Like it's not correct. That uncertainty will go down. Neglecting CSAT, one of the crucial mistakes that some people do. It may be a game spoiler ultimately. So better focus adequately on it. At least 1 hour a day, if nothing else. Continue the CSAT practice. Neglecting current affairs could be also costly. Last 10 days especially is the best way to dedicate for it. Because they're too current, they're not useful so much in the mains. So such a way you do it that you keep it in the fresh memory. Last 10 days, you just go through it once and something it clicks in the exam. 1 or 2 questions get added in your score. So that's also sufficient thing to make from it. So last 10 days are the best to go for it. One more warning in this all last days is don't start a new subject now. Because it proves counterproductive. How can you do the new subject now? Like it's not time for it. Focus on the basket components you have chosen and better revise them, better strengthen them further. Let them fetch 50 correct questions for you, which is the required score for clearing the prelim approximately. So like Hakikat film, there's a famous song, Ab tumhare hamale hawale watan sathiyo kar chale hum fida jano tan sathiyo. Same way, basket, believe in the basket of the subjects and then go ahead with them. Any tips? In the share market, they talk about the tips always. So get hold of the MCQ pattern properly. Understand the question properly is crucial. Sometimes if you don't understand the question, you may be knowing it, still the answer goes wrong. Focus on what is asked. Correct is asked or incorrect is asked. True or false, what exactly has been asked. Read it carefully. Read the question carefully twice. Enough time is there. Generally, 2 hours are very sufficient. A good time to score is like 45 to 1 hour is sufficient actually to clear the exam. So nearly 1 hour is there in the GS especially. Sufficient time. So go to twice about these ideas about correct or incorrect, true or false. So attempt at least schedule 85 questions. This much is required. Some people give up after 65, 70 or 75. This will not do like this doesn't fetch the required score for clearing the prelim. So be careful. 80 to 85 questions is must. It involves the risk which has to be taken. Risk hai to ishq hai. That's like a formula. One has to do educated guess and reach up to the required. So guesswork has to be done. The guesswork is not gambling. The gambling, you just throw the dice and just wonder what will come out. This is not gambling. This is the educated guess. You have studied a lot, you read a lot, you are like a clever person, you can link the two things and then come at the right answer. You have to try. You have to try. Red flag, some things not to be done is called as a red flag. So post assessment of the test is a key. Identify the areas which are strong and weak. At least identify where you are strong, at least know where you are weak. Even that is a strength. Knowing that where you are weak itself is a strength and not a weakness exactly. Get stronger in the strong areas now. Don't go in the weaker areas now. Keep a 50-50% target. Getting 50 questions right is our main target now. 50 questions right out of 100. That's a main target you focus on. Forget other things. Of remaining 50, guess you'll be right. That's all. If the wrong questions are constantly crossing the mark of 25, then that's a red flag. Out of 100, if more than 25 questions are coming wrong, then you are entering into the negative marking zone and getting yourself in trouble. Be sure. So what happened? Time to introspection it is. Are you over attempting sometime? Or you are making wrong guesses unnecessarily? Be careful now. Because what could be said is that many of the candidates clear in the first hour of the exam. First hour they already cleared the prelim. And what is interesting, next 1 hour, they plunk. They fail. Why? Because they enter into negative marking zone, score come down, and say first hour they clear, next hour they fail. This should not happen. This should not happen. Be careful about this all. Ek tha question. So some more things about this solving questions pattern. So do not be afraid of negative marking. Don't be afraid of it. For serious candidates, it's actually a good idea. It's mainly trouble to those who are non-serious, not those who are serious and prepared. Even if you eliminate one option, then it's worth attempting a question. If you're able to eliminate even one option, then also it is worth attempting a question. One has to take a risk. Use pre-existing knowledge to eliminate. Use it or lose it. So many times, very few questions are such that you do not know anything about it. Largely, you know something or other about it. Use it. As it is, you don't use it. It is no use of it, one can say. So, ये सब multi उल्टी दुनिया है यानी multiple questions are the biggest trouble the candidates face. So one get confused and fetch a headache ultimately about it. So multiple choice questions are a highest headache. Even last year they had an interesting pattern, like 2 of them are correct, 3 of them are wrong. So that make it very confusing. So they keep creating new patterns which are already there in the past 80s, etc. But they revive it. So how to face it then? Some people think. So for some other interesting things is that 21% time only, none of the above is the answer. The data shows 34% time, all of the above is correct, is answer. So if you do not have any clue, you can use such type of interesting things. Of course, this is all past data thinking, and things may not go that way only, but still, suppose you are blank as it is and want to play the blind spot, then this is how one can try about, one can say. If you do not have any clue, do not waste, but if you are too much confused in this multiple choice questions, do not waste too much time on it, because that unnecessarily take the time and you may get confused and other questions may suffer. So game plan is required to clear the prelim, definitely. So options, by changing perspective and familiarity, the question could be made difficult. So questions which are very well known, sometimes UPSC twist them and then we get confused about them. So mark the answer that first came to your mind. This is one of the easy thing one can think about. When we read that question, many times we already flash, the answer is flash in the mind, and that's the answer. But then what happened? We read the second time, we read the third time, and we make that question complicated. It may be very simple question, like which is the longest river in the country? So answer is Ganga. But then you think that, oh, how UPSC will ask such a simple question? How it's possible? It's UPSC God. The God will not ask the simple questions. And so you think about other ideas then. Now that's all unnecessary. If you already know, and simple question may be there and simple questions are there actually. So better you immediately mark that particular answer, and then later when you get confused about it, then what you thought first, what flashed in your mind first, that is the answer, and mark that in the exam ultimately. So it's a mind game. Do not allow it to become the game of mind. That's like important caution. ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. Superlatives are one of the clue to think about. So when the statement talks in extreme, especially in social sciences, social science, this is the case, like absolute, always, something is 100% or 0%, etc. It is less likely to be answer. Less likely, we are saying. We are not absolutely saying again that will be superlative. But in social sciences, this is the case. If there are terms like maybe, may not be, can be, rarely, most of the time, more often than not, shall be, etc., then avoid extreme and talk in relative terms, especially in social sciences again, then a high chance of being correct. We are not making any pattern out of a UPSC prelim. But then, suppose if you are not sure about things and you want some clue as it is, like you want to solve now, practical solutions are required. Otherwise, we just talk a motivational thing that, oh, one should be strong and one should solve. Yes, that is all true. But these are practical solutions. So if you are caught up somewhere, then better get out of it from using this type of formulas. They could be useful, that could be said. So, full dress rehearsal is also required. Like one should solve at least one full paper and you at least one mock test with the exam condition. Both papers in a single day with the same timing, even same break in between, same atmosphere. Same atmosphere means like open hall and then no AC, and then windows are open and then fan is making noise and a lot of other things are there. Same seriousness, but of course. And with that, what happened? One get a good practice of the real time situation. We are actually local and conducting such test. It is free and open to all. You're all welcome to join. 7th April is the date. Indeed, we also give the hall ticket, isn't it? It's like UPSC pattern, no? So you also have a hall ticket because the roll number. You're all welcome to join for this real test, which will be followed by discussion. Mock test and MCQs are been crucial in this last phase, not for the marks, but at least for practice. So do not enter a hall with any preconceived notion. But some people had so many preconceived notion about a prelim, it bogged up and it become affected there the success ratio. So do not think anything about it in the advance. Questions are not hard, options are. Some people keep talking about questions being hard. Questions are easy, options are hard. One can say like this. So battles in the real life has to be first won on the battlefield of a mind, it is said. So in that case, mind you, it is a psychological war, especially prelim is really a psychological war. That day, that moment, how you think, how you respond, that matters a lot in this exam. So be prepared for it. You have to get rid of a fear factor. You have to get rid of it. There is no other way. You ask yourself about a question that can't you come in the top 15,000 also? The 15,000 people clear the prelim. If you are a serious candidate who want to become IAS, then now just you have to enter in the top 15,000. Now that much itna to banta hai na, itna to hona chahiye na. So what I can say is that get rid of the fear, get prepared. Remember the Josh, like how is the Josh? I hope it's fine and you'll clear. Best of luck to all of you.